Mohan, a doctoral degree holder and a gold medalist in theatre, carries an immense experience of 31 years in acting and in directing theatre plays. Dr. Ram is married to Soumya Holagundi, who is also a theatre practitioner and coordinator for Trinity College of London, Hyderabad Division, and works for speech and drama department. She is a special educator and has expertise in training autistic children and adults through theatre. They have a lovely son named Madhav, who is in grade 4 studying at Chinmaya Vidyalaya, who is also a passionate theatre actor. He is a decorated artist with numerous awards and honors. He has been felicitated as Theatre Luminary and Theatre Visionary at National Theatre Festival and also been recognized as the prominent theatre personality for using theatre as a medium of communication in education and working for national integration through street theatre. He is considered an expert in training and producing many fine actors, from young to old, for television, movies, and theatre. A theatre activist and a firm believer that theatre is edutainment and can be used as a media in bringing change in society and also contributing to the society. He is also a director and founder member of Vishwamitra Ballet and Theatre Group since 1995.
Vishwamitra came into existence since the year 1995. Our logo, Vishwamitra, means victorious. It's actually a dance pose of Lord Shiva, and it's been almost 22 years since our inception. And we have been taking up different genres, be it children's theatre, street theatre, experimental plays, mime, puppetry, gibberish theatre, bliss theatre, you name it, and we have it with us. And it's been a long journey from like 1995 to 2017. And Natotsav is our festival wherein we bring in different kinds of playwrights, Indian playwrights, and it's like we would like to bring out the playwrights who are not seen on the film page as such and give them glory. So we take a different Indian playwrights and we stage their plays.
He led many street plays and staged proscenium acts on various social issues like peace, girl child, child labor, women empowerment, entrepreneurship, etc., in spreading the awareness amongst the common man. He perceives theatre as a helping tool to develop life skills to sustain a society, a tool to create a sense of security, a tool to build self-esteem, and also can be used to channelize a person's energy through creative cognition. Let's explore the director's path with Dr. Ram in few seconds.
Hello, good morning, everybody. And I'm so glad to have Dr. Ram Mohan ji on Piece of Pie series of Six Elements Productions. Welcome, Ram Garu.
Yeah, namaskar.
Namaskar. So we are Six Elements Theatre based in Dallas, and our co-director is Srini Prabhala. As a part of a theatre, like we have been doing many play readings, and during these pandemic times, going live, and we have started this series. And this series, as you know, just want to let you know that it is oriented towards learning and sharing experiences in theatre and media arts, covering all 6 elements of it. Okay, so thank you for accepting our invite and being here with us and willing to share your knowledge with our theatre group and views.
Obviously. Thank you so much for inviting me actually as a guest. Thank you so much.
It's our honor, absolutely. So, you know, right, Dr. Ram, like there are 6 elements of the theatre, which is like plot, character, thought, diction, music, and spectacle, right? If you think about it. Most of it, the thought comes from one leader, a very critical part of it, right? You know, how do you put it into production? That thought comes from a doctor. As a part of this Piece of Pie series, which is a pop series, I would like to ask you certain questions around that directional aspect of theatre plays, if you will. So with
Sure.
31 years of experience, I'm sure you're a perfect guest this morning. You're nice, so it can't get any better. So,
Thank you.
uh, so with that, I will start off with our question number one. Okay. So before you go on a production, right? So how early or how far back a director has to prepare for the play? So do you do the end-to-end planning? So how do you ensure that the quality and the completeness of the production is there? And are there any tools to do this?
Yeah. Okay. The first thing is it's actually a great question, I should say, to start off with. And yes, as a director, the uh, the preparation has to start at least a couple of months earlier. It is like 2 months prior to the production in a sense the casting part and everything evolves. I think 2 months is required for any director as such to understand the nuances of the play which he or she is going to direct. One, so minimum of 1.5 to 2 months, that is 60 days, is mandatory, I would say, because to understand as a director, you need to understand the space, the stage, the dimensions, then where it's going to be done, the target audience. There are many aspects in that. So a person who's directing will definitely know how it is. So basically, you need to have that much of time to understand the play, understand nuances, the subtext of the performances, and then the other logistics also. So this is one thing. The second thing is, yes, end-to-end planning is obviously director's forte. You need to do that. That is like, as we call it in the films also, the similar way is followed even in theater. It's the pre-production, production, and the post-production. So you need to plan everything very meticulously. You need to plan everything, what's going to happen if suppose on the d-day if it's going to rain, then what do you do, what is the other alternative, or if in the last nth minute you don't get the stage to perform. That happens every time with us. So you need to have an alternative. Okay, fine, if I'm not having this here, then where do I shift, how do I do it? So everything should be planned. End to end planning has to be there, and that will help in the progress of the whole production as such. And what was the third one, ma'am?
So I was saying, like, how do you ensure that the completeness of the production is there, right? Like,
Yes.
is there any,
Yes.
and how the quality of the program is like, on the top, like, or to you, does it match to your vision? So how do you ensure?
Yes. See, here I would like to say the writer writes with his or her own interpretation. There
Right.
is a plot, a structure given to the story as such, which comes in as a drama form in a written text. Now it becomes the director's prerogative to see how creatively you can make it happen. Because, for example, if I take Macbeth, William Shakespeare's Macbeth has been done all over the world.
Mhm.
So I need to know what are my limitations. With the same, I need to see that how do I give it to the audience, are they prepared to take it, and what is our target audience, so that okay, this is how I have to, if I go with Shakespearean language, then maybe few elite class might follow, but what about the other audience as such? So you need to understand, okay, this is how I need to make a sketch of it. I need to understand, fine, this is where I need to limit myself, I need to adjust, I need to compare. Okay, then taking things into consideration, we try to bring the best out of what we can, what we have, and how we can. So definitely any director, any team, any group will and will plan to see that it reaches to the crescendo, it goes to that level, the top level. So nobody Yeah, there are amateur groups which definitely they say in 20 days, 15 days, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, weekend performances, like they just come up because it's a learning process.
Correct.
But that's not what we have to look at. We need to work meticulously. It is a traditional, people say it's a traditional form, you're taking so much of time to do a rehearsal and all. Yes, obviously, if that is done, that is why you are marked as, okay, these guys are professionals. So for getting that completeness, you need to work on that. And the tools I would like to say are, as a director, you need to be very, very observant. Your imagination definitely helps, and the focus. So these are the basic things which any actor needs, and the director also follows.
Awesome, awesome. So, basically, like when you're doing the end-to-end planning, right? Do you engage yourself with the people who are going to be doing this special effects? So, do you plan about the lighting? Do you plan about the music? Also, 2 months ahead of the production. So, how the screenplay has to be. So, do you consider all of this in planning also?
Yes. uh, Actually, if you have gone through Bharata's Natya Shastra, I will just give few inputs on that. The thing is, Natya Shastra, Bharata Muni has said, and it is there. Even if you see the traditional Sanskrit theatre form, the Kudiyattam, also even now the existing only traditional form in India as such, you have this character called Sutradhar, and
Yes.
he is the man behind everything. In the earlier days when drama was being evolved as such, when it was coming up as such, the Sanskrit plays when they were happening, it was the Sutradhara who was the, actually now we call them as stage managers. So he was the one who used to take care of everything, right from the scripting, the dialogues, the training, the actors training. He used to even be the actor also. The Nata Nati part was played by the Sutradhara. Then you have the Nandi. So there are many aspects which this particular character used to do. But as time passed by, things got divided. So now we have the stage manager doing his part, the choreographer doing his part, uh, the lights technical head doing his part, then the music. So everything got divided. Then it was only one person. So as a director, I feel he or she should have an idea, an awareness. If there is an experience, it's great, but otherwise they should have an idea about all these aspects, technical aspects which are involved. So definitely when we plan, uh, not exactly 2 months, yeah, there is an idea. Like if I am staging a play, I think forehand, where am I going to stage this play? So I know the technicalities there. What are the obstacles over there, what are good over there, what needs to be developed over there, the lighting, do I have the bars over there, or it's only from the wings I have to play the lights. So accordingly you keep planning, accordingly you keep blocking, so it's there behind. But uh, all these technicalities come in, say, 4 weeks before the performance, that is 1 month before the actual performance happens, so that they come, they watch, they have their own way of doing it, and then they start as the director and all these technical experts sit down, discuss, and then bring out the technicalities, the lighting effects, or whatever is required for the performance.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So I learned few. So I didn't know, like, 1 month before, like you have to have all this planned out. And thank you very much. So you made a very interesting point, right? Yeah, you brought up like how do you adopt the script from a writer, right? So basically, once the script is done and you have taken it, I would think the writer's role is done, right? So, and how do you make sure now it's all director's responsibility to take his or her story is well conveyed and well transformed, correct? So, and there could be chances that some of the parts of the stories could be changed. so that it fits the need of your vision, right? So in which case, do you work constantly with the with the writer, or do you take it by yourself? What is that? What is required in this situation? Like, is the writer completely off the hook, or do you work with it collaboration?
Okay. See, that's again another good question, I should say. Yeah. See, I had taken Girish Karnadji's place. We had a Girish Karnad festival as such in the Natotsav. So I have taken almost all his plays to perform. All the ones which were left out also had taken. So when I was blocking, and then when I was doing the rehearsals, I felt maybe I need to have a change over here, or I need to add something over here. So I called sir, and I asked him, sir, can I have a change over here? He said, see, I've written it long back, and why do you want the changes? So I said, sir, this is how it is, like the situation. I explained the situation. Maybe the stage or the set was a little problematic there, and this is how you have written, so I need to change a little over here. I said, okay, go ahead, because you are the director, you know the best. Their uh, present situation, you have an idea about how it is going to be there when it's going to be performed in the audience, in front of the audience. So I said, okay, fine. So definitely we do take liberties as directors, but keeping the content as close to the original as a writer. We cannot see now for Shakespeare's play, William Shakespeare's play. If I've done most of his plays, like Shakespeare's Macbeth, Julius Caesar, King Lear, Hamlet. So they're all 5 act plays which go or which run behind or beyond say 4 to 5 hours. So today's audience, where everything can be on a small mobile phone, so you don't expect the audience to sit there for 5 hours to watch, except for those who are passionate, say around 50 or say 100 plus. So to cater to the audience who all can be brought in and create that interest of theater, you need to edit. You need to edit the script. So without losing the original content, I edited Macbeth to say 1 hour 55 minutes, 1 hour 55 minutes, and with the choreography and everything, it went beyond 2 hours 10 minutes, I think.
Oh,
So
wow.
I know Shakespeare sir, if he was there alive, I don't know what he would have said. But that was how it is. Then with Mahesh Dattani sir also, I had the full liberty, because he gave and he came and watched the performances also. I had actually taken his films, and I have staged it. I have adapted it to stage. So that's how, and he gave me the full liberty to go ahead and change accordingly. So we as directors definitely take the liberty of doing it creatively, aesthetically, but without losing the original content.
Got it. Got it. So the changes could be made as long as you keep the meat of the story as is, or the intention of the writer as is, not
Yes,
respecting his or her
he's a
storyline.
her. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. So being an experienced theater play director in different forms, right? So when you see a story, and you have done, like, theater in modern plays, like, traditional plays, street plays, puppetry, mime, whatnot, right? So we have already covered in the introduction, but I'm like super excited, like, one man doing all of it. That means, like, you have the mass, you have that kind of a creative juice flowing, right? Like, you can see how the story could be set in different forms. So when you're seeing a story, how do you say, like, this would be a very good one for a modern play, this would be very good for traditional play? How do you choose those?
It's actually when the writer writes it, there is that interpretation, that intention with which he or she writes it. So obviously, when you read a play, when you come across a play, Like if I choose a Girish Karnad play, there it is laced with folk theater form. Most of it is laced with folk theater form. And yeah, contemporary, there are two sectors on which he concentrated a lot. If I take Mahesh Dattani's play, it is more of contemporary. It's more of contemporary. There is nothing much as the folk tale or folk theater coming in, or the myth coming in, or the mythology coming in. So when you read or come across a performance, come across a play script, you easily will be able to identify, okay, this format will be good for it. Okay, now if I have to adapt it to another genre, like if I have to do an Agni Varsham, or say a Yayati as a street format, as a street play, then it's a very good challenge as such. You can do it. You can definitely do it. But if you do not want to, if you are thinking, okay, let me do it for uh, let me do it for a proscenium stage, wherein you have a format, you have a proscenium stage over there. So it's actually written for a proscenium stage, but if I have to adapt it, I can do it. It depends on your audience, target audience, because if I'm doing it as a street play format, it's for an un uh, like unprepared audience as such. They are all going out there. So when you're doing it for a proscenium stage, people know, okay, this is Yayati or this is Agnivarsha by Girish Karnad, which is going to be staged on so and so date. Even a street play, I announce beforehand ki Yayati is going to be staged. Only those people who know about Yayati will definitely stand there and watch. But otherwise, other people who are passerbys, who are interested or who get glued by what's happening over there will definitely stand and watch. Otherwise, they will just leave. So it depends. So we need to think, and this comes through your experience of observation. You are observing the plays happening and what type of or what genre is being used or adapted for the stage performance as such.
Okay, okay. So it all depends upon the if I'm like seeing it, it depends upon the subject line and the targeted audience
Yeah.
also. Yeah, terrific, terrific. So we were talking yesterday informally, like knowing each other, and you mentioned a very interesting point. So people say theater is dying, but in actuality, you said like it's not. It is just transforming. So it is transforming into another art form. So that's a very interesting point you made, right? So I was wondering, like what do you think, or where do you think it is going, right? And there are a lot of people like theaters like us, right, and who have seen traditional theaters, and like we have that mindset being in school and all the like, being the same old kind of theater, right? Now if it is transforming, how do we prepare ourselves to that future, and where do we have to go, where is it going according to you?
It's going in the right direction. One, theater is an art form. So there is no death to any art form, be it any art form, and theater has no death. Yeah, it is, as I have told you earlier also, it's a transformative power. It's a powerhouse. So when you are in theater, you'll know how good it is, how energetic a person is. The moment you go out, you are like, okay, ठंडा पड़ जाते हैं. But otherwise, you are so energetic when you're on stage, and people, students, anyone, corporates, when they are performing, when they are on stage, they just are out of the world. They leave themselves out, and they come here to understand, enjoy, and live the characters which they are doing. So theater now today, it's being, because of this lockdown, there were many people who came up and said, theater is not happening, what are we going to do? I said, see, look, this is just a pause, it's just a phase. And good that this happened. Maybe I'm sorry to say this, but There are innovative ways which have come out now. We should take it in a positive way. We should look at it in a very positive manner, because we didn't know much about digital theater. We didn't know much about virtual theater. It was happening. But now, because of the lockdown, everyone has got hooked to the mobile phones or the laptops, and people have started watching. Those who do not know about theater have started learning about theater, have started knowing about theater. So it's given, it's just taken a turn. That's it. And yes, absolutely right. Live theater is nothing. There's nothing which can be as live theater is. There's nothing like that. But having said that, now it's a temporary phase, and I'm sure we are going to come across definitely. And the contemporary, the youth, the contemporary theater which is happening, it's good, because you have 3D theater happening, you have 4D theater happening. So it's amazing to watch them. And we, coming from the traditional background, I'm sure we need to adapt. Actually, they are running, and we are actually like walking fast, brisk walk. We need to catch up with them, because they keep talking about this and that, and we are like, oh, okay, this also happened, okay, this also happened, fine, 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 let's have this also together. So we need to catch up with them. Yes, and it's good, it's good, it's taking shape, it's developing, and contemporary theater is happening. Many ideas are coming in. I might have thought something about staging one play, but youth of say 20 years, 25 years, he or she comes up with something else and says, "Okay, look, this is how I wanted to do it." And I'm like, wow, that is a great way of presenting it. So that's how theater should happen and is going to happen.
Yeah. So if there are no creative ways, we won't have you. Like, we couldn't be getting you right now, right?
Absolutely. I was actually supposed to say that. The see now, if this theater wouldn't have happened, this virtual thing wouldn't have happened, or this lockdown wouldn't have happened, we wouldn't have met.
Exactly. So you're right. It all happens for a good pause.
Yes, yes, yes.
So I know one last question from me before opening to the panel, right? So
Yeah.
I want to learn, like, so most of us are from acting to directional, right? Like, that is the norm of people. So when you are casting your actors, right, for a play, what do you actually look for in them? So what is that you really want to see? How do you test them? Like, is it like a, do you do have them like read certain portion, like enact certain things? Like what exactly do you look for them? Look in
Yeah.
them.
See, as you started off with actors coming into the direction part, I absolutely believe in that, and that should be the norm, and that should be followed to become a good director. Actually, yesterday, Mr. Neelakanta ji, a film director, famous film director from Telangana, he had come to my place. We were discussing. Actually, he's going to make a movie on a theater directors. So he wanted some inputs. So when he asked me, it was the same thing, similar way. So I said, see, sir, to be a good director, you need to be a good actor first. You go through that channel, and then only. It might be cliched, it might be very traditional, but that's the norm. There are people who directly get into direction. There are, but it's a rare talent, I should say. But if you go through this channel, and if you go through the process, I'm sure you're going to stay there for long. One. Now, coming to the auditions, casting part, a director's job of 70%, I repeat, 70% is done if you have a right cast. Right casting is there for a successful production. Right casting is done for a successful production. So when I do casting, I don't look at how the character should be. Yes, absolutely, the physical and psychological dimensions have to be there. But apart from that, if you are having a actor who is so agile, who's so flexible, who can get into any mold of the character, your job is done. So you need to find, you need to have a keen eye, you need to have observant personality to see who can fit into that. So obviously that's the norm, like you give the script and you make them read the reading process. But I, before I start my rehearsal process, I have 2 or 3 people for a particular character. So I am like, okay, fine, you do this, you read it. So when I do this, I at times I learned, actually I learned from this also. Okay, when I do this, I'm fixing myself. So I have 2 3 people. Why this happened was, when I was doing for a play, I had 2 or 3 characters, wherein for each character I had 2 3 people to audition or for the casting. I gave them the script and I asked them to read it. But when that was happening, I was not satisfied. I was like, yeah, there's something missing. नहीं मजा नहीं आ रहा है. Then I gave it to some other student of mine who was intended not to do that particular character. And for my surprise, he came up with such excellent performance. I was like, yeah, you are the person who's going to do this. And he was shocked. He said, am I, sir, I've come just, I said, nothing doing. You're going to do this character. Because that spark is what we keep searching for. So it should not be like limited to, that's what I learned then. So I definitely have my actors wherein that frequency is also there. You need to have a frequency which is matching with you. That's why I always go with repeated actors who are doing the performance, because I know the plus points and the minus points. So I know, okay, this is his advantage. For example, one of my students, Likit, he does all these bungee jumping and all these he's into lots of physicality and gym and all that. So he does all those somersaults and all that. So I know, okay, this is his capacity, this is his strength. So I can use him for I can use him for a character where we need this. So whenever I perform a physical theater, he's my first choice. Okay, I'll ask Likit. He's a very skinny fellow, very skinny guy. So people are like, how is he going to do? I said, don't worry about the physical traits. Look at how he's going to perform, and it comes out to be well. It comes out to be really good. So another guy, Nahushi, Dutavakyam. I had done Bhasa's Dutavakyam, in which he played Duryodhana. So Duryodhana should look like that, gigantic, but this guy is very skinny, and he looks small. And everybody was like, is he going to do Duryodhana? I said, yes, he is going to do Duryodhana. And because he had so much of flexibility in him, so much of agility as an actor, he could mold himself into any character. And people saw only Duryodhana on stage then. That's
Correct.
how it is. Yeah.
So you brought up a very interesting point, right? Like I was like excited, I'm like doing this. The thing is, like I believe in the same kind of a concept, right? Like, physical appearance is something which you have set an imagination in your mind that the character,
True.
but the person who is playing, so example I'll say you, right? Like, Suryakantam, anybody who's like, on the negative side, first thing they will have in mind is like Suryakantam, she has to be fat, she has to
Yeah.
use her left hand. Why the
Yes.
hell? It's nothing like that.
True.
Like in reality, it is not the case, right?
Very
So,
true. Very
and I was so excited when you said that physicality, yes, it matters to some extent, but it is not all of it. Like, so,
exactly.
and also you made up a very interesting thing, right? Like, knowing your actors beyond just the plays will help
Yes.
you place them in the right role. So, like,
Yes.
what are their personal interests? What are their, like, personality wise? Like, that would help. Super, super good.
And
So,
actually, one more point. Sorry to cut you. One more point. Like, if they have any backdrops, like one of my characters, one of my actors, he has a slurness. He cannot speak, and there's the slurness coming in. So he was scared. Will I be able to do such a major character? I said, don't worry, don't worry. And I used the slurness to the maximum in the creative way, which came out. That character came out so well, and people applauded him for what he was doing. So we can definitely use or make them understand, see, there's nothing like you cannot do it, and theater gives you all that freedom to do it. You can experiment in theater and theater only.
Awesome, awesome. That's actually an art by itself, recognizing those
Yes,
in a person. So thanks for
very true.
sharing. So
Yeah.
I will call upon our panel people. So first, I would like to have Sandhya ji. Sandhya Saxena Bhagat is from Atlanta, and she runs a Hindi theater in there, and she's been doing it for about like 13 years, if I'm not wrong. And she's actually, her target is like, putting the stories which happen in everyday life. So, and like, so that she can bring those stories and adventures to her audience. So, and also, like, her theater is called Dhupcha, right?
Dupcha. Wow, such a nice name.
Yeah, it is beautiful name actually. So, and she has done web series, short films under this Dhupcha banner, and she's one of the founder members of Hindi Urdu poetry group called like Hindi Urdu Samjhe Bol.
Tanjore.
Sanjhe Bol. Sorry,
Tangible. Oh,
yeah,
so
for the
nice.
evening. Oh, okay, yeah, nice. So, and they organize these poetry shows. So, and she's a very nice person to talk to. So we have Sandhya. So I just know her like couple of days back, and I feel like I know her for a long time. So sometimes
So
it happens.
nice.
Yeah,
Very
and
true.
we have Gagandeep Singh from Dallas. So he's, I should say, the youngest director I have met. So, and he, along with his wife, Amanjot, founded this theater called Grari Theater in 2016. And they've been performing from past 17 years. Very versatile, as you mentioned, right? He's one of those fine actors and who has turned into himself into a director. So
Director.
what I hear from people is like he's a perfectionist. So it
Oh,
has to fall in certain way. So, and it's our pleasure to have him on the panel as well.
pan.
Um, I'm sorry, people, like I'm cutting short. Don't mean that you're small by any means, but I'm just trying to accommodate during the in a short time. Okay. So then we have our Srinivas Bharadwaj Kishore. So all three names are called sir. So now that you don't feel out. So he's from Tallahassee, Florida, and he's also been a stage playwright and director. And he
Okay.
has produced many musicals with
Oh, wow.
young kids and also old. And he himself is a music composer. So a man with many talents here. So glad
Oh,
to have you. So we're going to open the discussion, and I'll shift this to panel view so that all of us are like seen. Uh, is this good enough? Yeah, I think so. So, so let's get started. Let's go around the table and see, like, what points our co-directors have. So we'll start off with ladies first. I'm always gender biased. So, Andhya ji, do you want to take it?
Okay. First of all, thanks to Lavanya for arranging this, session and giving my introduction that sweetly. I'm lucky I met her and I got this opportunity. Um, Basically, I work for language. That is the mission. So I work with consulate also, and I teach Hindi language also. And I got, good information from you, Ram.
thank you
Um,
so much, ma'am.
you're welcome. And sometimes I pick stories written by famous writers like Premchand, Tagore ji, or those
Yes, yes.
writers, famous writers. So I feel like when I'm writing script because I have to, they are not in dialogue forms. So I want to do justice. I don't want, as you said, when you adapt something and then you have to be careful. So can you give
Yeah,
me some more tips?
yeah, absolutely. Like, are you're talking about the adaptation part, right, ma'am?
Yeah, adaptation and how to write in dialogue form. You know.
Okay. Yeah, I've written quite a few plays. So definitely, ma'am, the thing is, first is when you are writing, you have an idea about it as a playwright. Also, you need to know the plot structure, how what the plot structure is all about. You need to have a start, a middle, and an end.
Okay.
Then you have the plot structure coming in, wherein you have the exposition. Exposition is where you introduce the characters. So it can be in the dialogue form where you introduce the characters. Like, for example, uh, ए भाई रामू ए बूढ़े मियाँ इधर आओ. So if I say this in the starting, like his name is Ramu and he is a Bude Mia. Bude Mia is the old guy who's there and I'm calling him. Then I maybe somebody else comes in and says कि अरे बाबा कितने साल हो गए आपको 15 साल हो गए तब से आप यही क्लास में बैठे हो. So this means that okay, this guy is 15 years old, he is studying and he's like not getting through the class or something. So this is the exposition part which happens when you are writing a play. And then you get into the story. So you have a conflict coming in, and there is something like rising of action happening. So you get in some more characters, and then there's some conflict happening between character and character, then that emotional bonding between few characters. Then it goes to the climax wherein it is like the whole thing is revealed, or it's an happy ending, or it's a sad ending, or the ending is left for the audience. And then the denouncement, that is the falling of action. So at times you need to have this falling of action also when you write a play, because or you have especially when there are in Agnivasham, if you see that Girish Banerjee has given two endings. So for the performance, you have two endings over there. You can choose as a director if you want this ending or that ending, depending on your comfort zone. So these are the basics for any playwright as such. And dialogues तो मैम जैसे हम लोग बोलते हैं वैसे ही हम लोग लिखते जाते हैं. And if you are writing for a kid, if you are writing for a kid, if it's a children's play, so we need to know what are our limitations, how do we go about it, what are the words to be used. If it is for an adult, youth, young adult, so who's our target audience? So, or if it is for generally we are writing, or if it is a social play with an issue, like we do lots of social plays as such on like girl child environment, and then nature, and बहुत सारी चीजें, all those things which happen, like I just write and we perform it as a street play format. Whatever is happening, the garbage thing and all that, Swachh Bharat, बहुत सारे हमने किया है. तो it is like I take these elements from the day to day life, जो हम लोग देखते हैं, हम लोग ऑब्जर्व करते हैं, मैं उसी में से उठाता हूँ. मैं उनको देखता हूँ, ऑब्जर्व करते रहता हूँ. ओके, इन्होंने ऐसा किया, ऐसा क्यों बोला, अगर ऐसा बोला है तो उसके पीछे क्या कारण हो सकता है. सो आई पिक दीज थिंग्स एंड देन I add on my way, my own imagination, and then bring it to a level where we question the audience, ki why this has to happen and why this should not happen. So that is how we go ahead into the street play, as because it is hardly for 20 minutes. So and it needs to give the whole thing as such. You need to give them the idea behind why you're performing, what is the cause, and what is the result which we need. So this is the flow with which a play has to be scripted.
Excellent question and excellent answer. So that means, like, and keeping intact the plot is also not easy, right? Like while you're
It's very difficult.
yeah,
Very difficult.
yeah. So something to learn here, like exposition. Is that what you mentioned?
Yeah,
Dr.
exposition.
Yeah. So that's an excellent point you have made. Like setting up the character through the dialogues. So that makes it great job. So I know we have our Srinivas Bharadwaj Kishore ji, who has a smile on his face all the time through his eyes also. So I'm sure
Yeah.
to ask certain questions and bring up to the discussion. What would you like to add, Srinivas Garu?
My questions are primarily based on if you were to handle kind of scenarios. This is primarily to learn professionals' view of how the issues we faced in bringing Broadway-style musicals to stage. We faced a cube. So my questions are primarily based on how you would have handled it so that I can learn from your experience. The first and foremost thing will be themes. Here, we are faced with a real challenge because most of the plays which we are doing here are aimed at Western audiences, not Indian audiences. So selection of the appropriate theme. I am passionately driven by bringing in Eastern culture and exposing the Eastern culture to the Western audiences. So connecting with them is the most important part. So choosing the appropriate themes is really one of the bigger challenges. I'll take an example. Last year we staged theme of Buddha. As a character, Buddha, everybody knows Buddha. But the point is, we were not intending to bring life of Buddha when as a series of incidents or events which happened in. Teachings of Buddha is what we wanted to teach through the play. That was our thing. And we wanted to make it musical. That's because passionately I'm closer to musicals. So we wanted to make it musical. So in the process, we faced quite a few challenges. First of them was, I mean, this is based on what you said a little while earlier in selection of the team and characters. Here, we do not have a big choice of team and people to select. I had to select 67 characters, 67 people for the play. And ours is a town of 150,000 population, which is probably less than one colony in Hyderabad. So in this, we had to, so we had to select 67 characters. So primarily, we had to pick people from a team of enthusiastic amateurs. Enthusiastic amateurs, I'm using the terms, but that's where I had to use my vision or visualization of how everybody would play their roles. The character whom we had chosen for playing the Siddhartha was fine. He was a good singer actor. I knew about it. But the challenge was with the Yashodhara. And he's a young boy, about 27 years old, newly married. For some reason, in my mind, it was telling me that his wife, I mean, all the characters we chose are basically by families. Every family, we chose exactly the same family members. Like King Shuddhodana, we chose entirely entire family of Shuddhodana to play the roles of Shuddhodana that way. Here, for some reason, I had seen the sparkle in his wife's eyes. She's a young girl, 22, 23 years, who calls me Papa, by the way. She's 22, 23 years old girl. She had some sparkle, but she has never come into public. Even she's shy talking to people whom she doesn't know. But something was telling me she's the ideal fit for it. I said, "Beta, aaja, kar lo ye role." Like, there's no way I can do. And her husband is totally non-supportive. I won't say opposing, but non-supportive. She said, "Ye kya karegi?" But I said, "Okay, baat mat karo tum. Let me bring her." And finally, you won't believe, at the end of the show, she outperformed everybody else. That's because of the zeal she had in her, sparkle she had. At the end of it, in fact, everybody said she was looking much prettier than what she naturally looks because of the energy she built in herself. Because we challenged her. We said, okay, hey, you have to do it. You will be able to do it. And selection of the team, this is where we are facing the challenge. Now the question is, if you were to select a team among the team of enthusiastic amateurs, how would you really go about identifying people? And we had to bring all Indians and expose them to Western culture, connect them with the Western audiences. How would you handle that?
So that's a real challenge for me also now. Okay.
Well, you have lots of talent available.
Yeah.
We have to make good of the talent available here.
Sure. Sir, there's this small difference between the amateurs and the professionals. Professionals are, you give them something and they pick it up like that and they know it and they do it. Amateurs are where it is challenging for the director. And before I go into the point, I would like to thank you and appreciate you for choosing that lady who was really amateur there. But you as a good director, that's the eyes. That's what I was saying. The eyes of director. You did that. Like, you saw in her that spark and you picked her up. So I'll, if time permits, I'll come back to this later. So very nice. So that is how it happens, sir. Absolutely, that's the way we need it. So you just, amateurs are there, but they are filled with lots and lots of creativity, enthusiasm, and they are passionate. So these are the aspects which I look at. And the major part now comes as the discipline part, because discipline in the sense, the regularity, how regularly will that person be there and come and perform or come for the rehearsals. That, see, these are the 3 4 qualities which we had to look at when I have to choose somebody from the amateur. So I'll give you an example of this. I was actually staging way back in 2002. I staged Dharamveer Bharti's Andha. So when I had done this, I had the student of mine, Ankit Junjunwala. I remember his name very well even now. So this boy, he was hardly, he had finished his plus two then, and tall and gigantic personality, and he was my student in school. So then when I was reading about Andayog and Ashwatthama, I was like, yes, this boy will be apt for this character. And I had made him read it in the school at 1 or 2 places. And I felt, yes, this boy is going to. Then I brought him there, and Andayog, there's almost around 50 plus characters. So when he saw all of them, he got so scared, he did not come for the performance. He left it. He just left it, and for 3 days he didn't even pick my calls. So then I went back to his home. I said, Baba, you're going to do this character. You come. He said, sir, I cannot do it. I am an amateur. I cannot do it. I said, see, I believe in you. You are talented. So we need to convince them. We need to comfort them. As a director, we need to comfort them. We need to convince them, because this stage fear, when it goes, you will find the best over there. So that is what. And after I said, okay, fine, do one thing, just give me 1 week's time. And in 1 week, if you feel that you're not able to do it, I'll let you go. Don't worry about it. And I said, you have to come. And after that 1 week, when all the co-actors also supported him, and when he felt, yes, he can do it, he picked it up. And as you rightly pointed out, how that ma'am came out with flying colors, it was the same here, same situation. So they are amateurs. They are amateurs, but they are talented. We need to find the talent. And I know a director can definitely work on this, see for the amateur, talented, passionate actor and find it up. That is how we do it. Now, coming to the second point, how do we do it in the Western areas, like Indians performing there? Uh, I had staged this ballet, sir, Rabindranath Tagore's Chitrangada. I think it's way back in 2004, I think. So I had this teammate of mine, Pallavi Sharma. So Pallavi Verma, sorry, and she's a Kathak dancer. So I said, see, and there was this dancer. He's now very famous. He calls himself MJ actually. So uh, this boy was playing the protagonist, but he is basically a pop dancer, a break dancer, and he loves Michael Jackson like anything. That's why he calls himself MJ also. So I said, see, let's bring in. She was trying to teach him the Kathak and the postures and everything, but it was becoming quite difficult for him. And he ended up crying also. I said, see, look, we'll not stress on him. We'll do one thing. Let's bring in his part also. Let's see how flexible he is in his own way, how comfortable. So brought in the Western part and mixed it with the Indian part, so that those who could identify with the Western, they were like, wow, this is our way of doing it. And those who could identify with the Indian part, they were like, oh wow, this is. So what I would like to put forward is, sir, like we need to bring in a mix of both the cultures. If we are bringing in both the cultures, then definitely it will work out and it will make the thing even more interesting for the audience to watch and the actors also, sir. That is what I would like to say.
Thank you.
That's
Is
awesome. That's awesome. Like,
whose turn is next to
Srini,
ask the question,
Srini
Lavanya?
Prabhala.
Gaganji.
Yeah, I will. I was just about to say, like, this is how, like, our Srini Prabhala sir keeps saying, like, when you're directing, you are the father or the mother of those cast. So you need to get
Yes.
into that shoe where trying to encourage them and like to see, nurture them,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Yeah, excellent. So, Gagan sir,
Yep. So thank you, Ramji,
Thank you.
Kishorji, and the whole panel and team. So Ramji, I'm going to fast forward this. I'm going to take you from our current discussion question from Kishorji, and I'm going to fast forward you to stage 5 minutes before you go live. So my question is, how does your final hurdle 5 minutes before the curtains open? You are backstage with your actors, set is there. How does your final hurdle look like? There is a lot of emotions going there, right? And there are 400, 500 people sitting on the other side of the curtain. So what is your final hurdle looks like? Is it same every time or does it change? And as a director, what's going through your mind at that particular moment, just 5 minutes before the curtain opens? So that's my question.
Great. That's beautiful. Gaganji, the thing is, I don't know. Maybe people keep saying me like, you are so cool. Yes, they call me Mr. Cool also at times. Uh, so मैं एक ही बात बताता हूँ उनको कि भाई ऐसा नहीं है कि कूल अंदर बहुत चलते रहता है बट दिखने में हम कूल रहते हैं और
Sure.
शायद ये बाल भी इसीलिए उड़ गए तो आप लोग ये बाल भी इसीलिए उड़ गए बिकॉज इतना स्ट्रेन होता है but having said this, 1 hour before, actually, 1 hour before, it is
Mhm.
like I call everyone because हमारे पास क्या होता है यहाँ पर we get the stage very late. We get it hardly 3 hours or 4 hours before, so we don't have a stage rehearsal as such. And
Okay.
it is because we cannot afford to. If you can afford, if you have a financial sponsor or someone coming in like 2-3 दिन हम लोग ले लेते हैं वहीं पर rehearsal करते हैं तो there's no issue as such. But when this is happening, and every time I make it a point that 1 hour or 1.5 hour before everybody comes on stage in whatever state they are, like थोड़े आधे makeup में होते हैं, थोड़े technical वाले lights वगैरह ये करते रहते हैं, ऐसे please come
Sure.
down, every one of
Right.
us, let's sit down. And I explain to them, see, come what may, we are doing this for ourselves. One, second is our audience. If it's a
Mm.
paid event, they are coming there paying for the ticket. It's a ticket show. It's a ticketed show, so they're coming there paying. So we need to give them not 100, it's 200%. सो
Okay.
सभी लोग एक ही सोचो कि दिस हम लोगों ने अभी whatever rehearsals, whatever performances we do, whatever we stage, 2.5 hours, sorry, I'm sorry, 2.5 months, 2.5 महीने या 1.5 महीने का रिहर्सल होता है. 2.5 months we rehearse. So as I see,
Okay.
daily we keep rehearsing, regularly we rehearse 4 to 5 hours, daily we come. Sunday, Saturday, बिल्कुल बेचारे को कुछ भी नहीं मिलता है. Like at
Mm.
times it is like 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock in the night, they go back home. The girls are there and we drop them back also. So इतना पूरा करने के बावजूद, it is for that 1.5 or 2 hours where the audience come, watch your performance and grade you, say कि this is good, this is not good, this is nice, this is not nice, and they just leave. So I say,
Right.
इतने दिन हमने जो किया, leave it aside. But अब जो करने वाले हैं, this is life and death. This is life and death. और ऐसा करो कि आप पहले बार कर रहे हो and with n number of energy, whatever you can get in, how much of energy you can put in, but don't be overconfident. Be confident, don't be overconfident. And यही बात हम लोग बोलते हैं, we then 5 minutes before the performance we pray. Prayer hoti
Okay.
hai, and we do a silence prayer because I believe everybody has his or her way of praying. So मैं किसी भगवान का नाम नहीं लेता हूँ because
Okay.
usually in our if you see all the traditional performances or Indian drama में हम लोग गजानन महाराज को हम लोग मानते हैं, like Ganesha's ideal is there and we like pray. So I don't do that. I say, okay, because they are from different religions and communities. So I am not there to enforce something over there. I'm there to see that it is everyone has his or her God or whom they believe in. So I say, okay, let's all of us, we just hold hands, we pray to the God, whoever is there, to bless us and see that the energy is passed on to everyone. After that, 5 minutes before the performance, everybody is into their positions, their wings, everywhere, jahan par bhi baithna hai, and no one talks to the other person. And I am there with the technical team. मैं जाके आराम से अपना जो लाइट्स एंड म्यूजिशियंस है वहां जाके बैठ जाता हूँ. I am there and I just keep supporting them. That's how it happens.
Awesome. Thank you. Thanks for sharing.
Thank you.
So before we end the session, right, like, I'm sorry, I've been looking at my phone because, like, we're getting some questions from YouTube also. So a couple of questions which popped up are like, Anand asked, like, I know there is a big pause going on with the big on films, on big screens, and many have lost their jobs who are dependent on these. Any alternative plans in your mind which could help those people? Also, in a situation, what are the best efficient ways to reach audience as per you?
As we are doing, it's the same way, I should say, Anand. Thank you for putting up this question. See, I know it's a very difficult phase. Everybody is passing through that. We need to hold on as much as possible. Yeah, ideas and concepts, everyone are trying to do something or the other in a creative manner. Some are doing some small videos and putting it forward to keep yourself occupied. Because if it is like if you're lonely or if you are aloof, then there might be negative thoughts coming in and it might lead to something drastic. So I don't want any one of us from the artist community to face some difficulties. As of now, there are many people who have faced and who have been facing. So let's work out something together. If you are from Hyderabad, let's meet up, or we communicate with each other and try to do something and put it on a video. Because nowadays even there are shows happening, like there are plays which are being shown online for tickets. So definitely you can make your show online and it can be a ticketed show. So you can definitely on Book My Show, you can put up the tickets and there are people who are watching the shows by buying the tickets also. So this is one option I would like to say. And please be positive. Do not worry. This is again and again I'm telling you all, this is a passing phase. Everyone, not only us as artists, everyone in the world is facing this situation. So we need to work out, we need to channelize our energy and be positive as much as possible.
Right. Okay, let's all be positive on that. One more question. So Rakesh just asked, like, you have given, you must have had multiple of your students break into Telugu film industry. How easy is it, or how difficult is it to do so? How can one audition for your place in Hyderabad?
Sorry, what was the last part? I missed the last part.
How can one audition for your place in Hyderabad?
Oh, definitely. See, there are few of my teammates who are doing good in the film line as such. And it was a late entry for all of them. Most of them who are there, it's a late entry for them, but they are doing good now. And yes, for any one of us, we need to be patient enough. We need to hold on and do not leave that hope. You need to constantly work on it. 2 दिन या 2 महीने या 2 साल काम करके छोड़ देना नहीं होता है. You need to keep on working, focused on one thing. Your target has to be there. Okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, and I am going to achieve it. I'm going to achieve it. This is how it has to be. That is when things are going to happen. One. And definitely, Rakesh, you can definitely get in touch with me. My number is 98492 So you can definitely get in touch with me. You can join the team, but not now, because there are many enquiries which have been coming up daily I receive around 3 to 4 inquiries happening, but I am putting them on hold because situation is really not so good in Hyderabad, especially the GHMC areas where we are under. So maybe another 20 days, like after that, maybe we'll be starting the workshops, theater workshops as such. Definitely you're most welcome. And you can send in your uh, whatever your profile is on WhatsApp, and I'll help you through.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ram. And thank you, Rakesh and Anand, for asking and being, viewing us. So this is great. Unfortunately, time is like running.
I know.
And I know this is like 1 hour seems to be a little short. We faced this issue last week too. I think we may have to extend this series for a little more so that we can
Yes.
have interesting discussions on theater, which is a common passion to all of us.
Passion.
Right?
Yes.
As a matter of fact, we have questions which can run for at least another hour.
I know. Wow, so nice.
So it is, yeah, I know,
If-
I know.
If Dr. Ram is available, we do this. We do second part of this session.
Correct.
Absolutely, I am there. I am there available. I am there available. We can definitely discuss, and maybe actually, I would like to say maybe with our interaction and with our this, I get a feel that all of us together can come up with some impromptu, maybe for 5 to 10 minutes, and that will be a real good start for the next session as such.
That's an excellent idea. Not a bad.
Sure.
संध्या जी लिखेंगे और भरद्वाज जी कुछ म्यूजिकल ये करेंगे और
Oh.
सर
And we will.
गगन
I will
Gagan
act
ji
and
will
Ram ji
act.
will direct.
Absolutely, we can do
Done.
that.
Perfect.
We can
Thank
do
you.
that. Seriously.
Or मैं और Srinivas ji, like, our Prabhala ji will sell the tickets, say.
No, you're going to act. You're also going to act.
Actually,
We can do that.
actually, before the show started, me and Sadhyaji, we were talking. This can be made into a live movie with appropriate backdrops. With appropriate
Very true.
backdrops, we can make it to a live movie.
Yes, very true. We can do
But we
that. We
need
can do. We
tips
can
for
work.
that.
Technology permits it today. Yeah.
Yeah, but we need tips for that.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
There are people.
Yeah, because
We can
already
do
we
that.
had tried एक वेब सीरीज बनाया हमने
अच्छा.
about corona.
हाँ,
So
हाँ, okay.
I mean the script is good, but उतना technical problems थे, like
हाँ,
about
ma'am.
the lights and
Yes, yes.
other things, because
That we can help out, ma'am. हम definitely हम help कर सकते हैं.
Okay.
We can help out.
but मुझे अच्छा लगेगा कि आप उसको देखें. It is on our
Def-
website.
ठीक है, ma'am. मैं जरूर देखूंगा, ma'am.
I
And
will
I'll
share the
definitely.
link with you.
Yeah, please do, ma'am.
I have one question. Can I ask that?
Go ahead.
अच्छा, जल्दी से.
हाँ जी.
Because जो न्यू कमर्स आते हैं ना, वो लोग को इट्स रियल हार्ड टू टेल देम कि एक एक्टिंग भी इट्स एन आर्ट, ऐसे नहीं आ जाता है. वो बोलते हैं कि ओके डायलॉग ही तो बोलना है, आई कैन से दैट, बोलो क्या बोलना है. तो कैसे स्टार्ट करना चाहिए विद देम? उनको कैसे कन्विंस करो कि नहीं इट इज नॉट, इट इज आर्ट. ऐसे नहीं है कि अभी बोलना तो सभी बोल सकते हैं कि महाभारत में दुर्योधन ने ये किया, अभी उसको
Ma'am.
भी इमोशंस बोलो.
हाँ, मैम. देखिए थोड़े बंदे जो आते हैं दे कम विद दिस फॉल्स कॉन्फिडेंस कि दे कैन डू एवरीथिंग एंड एनीथिंग. सो वी नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड. ओके, जस्ट गिव देम एक या दो डायलॉग आप दे दीजिए. फॉर एग्जांपल मैंने बात किया था धर्मवीर भारती का अंधा योग में अश्वत्थामा का डायलॉग दे दीजिए, निकल जाएगी मैम. इट्स नॉट सो इजी. गिव देम द डायलॉग, टेल देम बॉस इन 5 minutes आई वांट यू टू परफॉर्म. सो उनको समझ में आ जाएगा कि इतना आसान नहीं है एक्टिंग करना. It is not so easy, and especially see, definitely with all regards to the film thing, it has its own advantages and disadvantages. But theater, it is live. It's a 3D art form. It's 3-dimensional. Like you have the person there right in front of you in flesh and blood. But film, it's a 2D. It's 2-dimensional. It's flat. पर यहाँ पर आपको आदमी इंसान कैरेक्टर लाइव दिख रहा है. So that is the major difference, and that makes a major difference. And यहाँ पर एक बार पर्दा उठ गया, यानी the curtain opens up and पर्दा गिरते थी the end. वहां पर कैसा है, you have space, you have the shots happening, एक 10 shot ले लिए, 5 shot ले लिए, so you can do that, but
Yeah.
it's not, so you can just give them the script, tell them बाबा ये पढ़ो, आप पढ़ के आप इसको act करो अभी, then they'll know how easy it is actually.
Thank you.
Yeah, acting is not at all easy.
Yeah.
No.
But some people, they think like that.
Yeah. You know, so
Like-
I was mentioning last week, like, unless you practice the art form, you don't have right to critique it, or you don't know how to appreciate it.
Yeah.
Basically, more
Yes.
than critiquing it, you don't know how to appreciate it. You have to practice to appreciate. Oh, look at that boy! Hello, Ji.
Anat, say hi. Say hi. Say thank you.
Hi.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, I know. This
Oi,
is like
Chittu.
that we have to stop this. Like, even your child is growing in
Hello.
patience. So, thank you so much for sparing your personal time, and thank you to your families for letting you trade their time with us. So this is super good, and it's super pleasure to have Srinivasi and Sandhya ji and Gagandeep. And this is not the end of it, and I'm sure I would we'll do a part 2 on it. So for sure,
Thank you so
and
much.
we'll get hold of Ram Garu, so for sure.
Definitely.
पकड़ लिया.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, Leah. Yes, madam.
Yeah.
I'm there always.
Okay,
Thank you
thank you.
so much.
Thank you
And,
so much.
keep in touch, exchange your ideas, how we are doing. Sharing is caring, and also expanding your vision. So,
Yes,
and this is super good. And I would like to thank you, each one of you, once again, to coming
Thank
on
you.
the 6 Elements pop series. So before we all go, we want to let you know that next week on 27th, we are doing a multilingual short skit festival, wherein
Wow.
we are reading and semi-acting kind of a thing, because reading would make it very difficult for people to understand sometimes. So we are putting some facial expressions and all in front of the camera. And
That
Yeah.
art is called Dastan Goi.
That's not way. Yes.
Yeah, we did that. So when you read story with emotions, थोड़ा body को
Yes.
भी use करते हैं.
Use karte
It
hain.
is very old art, but reviving again, and we also did it in one of our shows.
Yes.
Dastan Goi.
we're going to put it on Facebook and tag you, yeah, this is good. So, and we are doing Tamil, Telugu, English, and Hindi play by, and all by old writers like Munshi Premchandji. And we have our Srini Prabhala, who is also writing. He's not old, but
Yeah.
he's pretty experienced. So
Good, right?
No, he is good. He's
writer.
good. I've seen his
He
scripts.
put up a play which he has written, and it received a lot of appreciation. So,
Yes.
and thank you so much this morning, and we'll let you all go. And thank you, Ram Garu. Have a good
Good
night.
night.
Good night.
Thank you, Srini Garu. Thank you, Bharadwaj ji, Sandhya ji, and Gagan ji, and Lavanya ma'am for making this happen. Thank you so much.
Thank you for being here.
All do it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you all.
Bye.
Nice to know everybody.
Bye.